want to make sure that the HTML is working first. So before I hook in the WordPress custom post type to the slideshow, I just want to make sure that the slideshow mechanism itself is functioning properly. I want it to appear on the home page. The first thing that I'm going to do is make a front page template. It's front-page.php. And this is a copy of the index file. I've added 3 links that I want to use in my slideshow on the top. So the first thing I want to check is to see if the home page is loading the template correctly. So here it is, and I can see it loading with the 3 links present. So that's good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the carousel code from the Bootstrap documentation. The first example here is going to just present an automated slideshow with no controls. But what I want to use for this example is the second one, which includes these features here that allow you to advance and recede. So I'm going to copy this bit of code here, place it on the page. Like so. Okay, and now this should work correctly. So let's give it a whirl. Okay, and then it all works. This is the beauty of using a framework like Bootstrap, because it makes a lot of this stuff easy. But let's take a closer look at the code itself, and let's look at some features of what's going on, or the structure of what's happening here. So I have on the outside an outer wrapper here with a carousel with an ID of carousel example controls. I don't really like that ID. I'm going to change it. It's a bit too generic for the use inside my theme. I think I want to make it something that makes more sense for me. And then I have carousel inner here. Okay. And see, carousel inner is another container that contains 3 more containers. These are carousel item containers, and inside each of them there's an image. But you can put anything inside this carousel item. You don't even have to have an image in there at all. It could just be text. You could put little animations in there with SVG or whatever. You could put in movies. You could put anything you want inside these slide containers, these carousel item containers. Now, the one important thing to notice is that the first item has a class of active, and that's important in order for the slideshow to work, because the slideshow actually won't work if that's not present. We have the link, and then we have an alt tag. Just for now, I'm going to put in slide 1, slide 2, slide 3 for my alt tag. Okay. And then the next thing that you see, it's interesting, it's not inside its own container, but it's in the overall container, separate from the carousel intersection, are the links. You have the carousel previous and next links, and you see that they have an href that matches this href, this ID rather. So if let's say I just call this I'll call it mobile cache carousel. And then I have to make sure that these match, otherwise it's not going to work. And if you had multiple carousels on the page, for example, you could change. You would just have to make it. Let's say you had multiple carousels on the page. Well, I can show you what I mean. I'll just put 2 of them on the page. And let's say I'm going to call this second one mobile cache 2, but I'm going to leave these controls as they are. You'll see what happens. Okay, so now if I click this button, it actually is triggering the one above because it's corresponding not to the container, but actually to the ID. Okay, so now that we have the markup in place, we'll go to the next step of creating the post type and loading in the images.